Slick.
Wait till that mother start hitting that body.
Yeah.
Alvarez hit that mother body.
Look how slick. Mike, look how slick he is.
Oh, he's going to get
In August of 2024 against Israel Majima to make him a 4-division champion. That's it. That's all. He hasn't fought since then.
Look, with Crawford, I think gaining too much weight and too much muscle might affect them. If they're thinking of surviving and being able to take a punch and being able to go around.
Mike Tyson issued a blunt warning to Terence Crawford after appearing alongside Canelo Alvarez at a press conference, declaring Crawford far too small to contend with the Mexican champion. Tyson insisted there was virtually no chance for Crawford to win, adding that the fight itself holds little appeal for fans. His remarks injected a sharper edge into the pre-fight narrative, intensifying debate over whether the bout should even take place.
That Terence Crawford is simply too small and doesn't have a chance to beat Canelo Alvarez. Iron Mike Tyson, he says that this is a fight that nobody calls for. It's just simply too much of a size difference. Shannon Briggs is the believer in styles make fights, skill set, and the skill set of Canelo Alvarez versus the skill set of Terence Crawford favors the skill set of Terence Crawford, not only just to win, but to possibly stop Canelo Alvarez for the first time in his career. Now, Canelo Alvarez is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Terence Crawford is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Terence Crawford is 4-division champion, undefeated, 2-division undisputed champion. Canelo Alvarez is a 4-division champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight champion, and reigning undisputed super middleweight world champion with a record of 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout.
Gabe Rosado, a respected boxing veteran, offered his take on the potential showdown. While he praised Crawford's technical skill, precision, and movement, Rosado doubted those tools would be enough against Canelo's sheer strength and physical presence. He emphasized that Canelo has absorbed punches from some of the sport's hardest hitters without faltering, raising doubts about Crawford's ability to inflict serious damage. For Rosado, the disparity in physical strength and durability represents one of the greatest obstacles Crawford would face.
So I don't see how Crawford could hurt Canelo, because Canelo's been in there with Kovalev, he's been in there with Bivol, you know what I'm saying? He's been in there with big punchers, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can a guy that's really a 47-pounder, even though he's up in weight, I don't see how he can hurt Canelo. You know what I'm saying? It just feels complete. Because your body is different to absorbing a bigger blow. So, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, when I sparred the guys in the lower weight classes and they hit me, bro, it's like, no disrespect, but it just feels like you get hit with a pillow. It's just different. It could be a murderous puncher at 147. But if I'm walking around 185 and I'm a solid guy and I'm used to fighting guys, you know, with a different kind of power, and I spar a guy that's a welterweight, it feels like a pillow.
Boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult delivered a straightforward assessment. He doesn't believe Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. He cited Canelo's size, power, and stylistic advantages, along with his extensive experience against elite fighters in multiple weight classes. While acknowledging Crawford's versatility and ring IQ, Showbiz argued that those assets alone wouldn't neutralize Canelo's strength and control. In his view, the matchup is heavily tilted toward Canelo, and Crawford would need something extraordinary to alter that reality.
Spaceman Films. What up, Biz? Who you got? Canelo Crawford.
Yeah, got Canelo. I heard the punches that he hit Charlo with. I don't know if Crawford can absorb those punches. I know he's a great warrior. When you come from 147 to put on a better fight than Charlo, I mean, I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that means that Crawford is so great that he can do that, or that means that Charlo sets the bar so damn low that anybody can do better than Charlo did last time.
You still really pay the bill? That's
Renowned trainer Robert Garcia expressed concern over Crawford's decision to significantly bulk up for the fight. Garcia explained that rapid weight gain can sap a fighter's speed, stamina, and sharpness, qualities that define Crawford's style. He dismissed comparisons to Floyd Mayweather, noting that Mayweather never added substantial mass to face bigger opponents. Instead, he relied on speed and technical mastery. Garcia warned that the physical demands of fighting at a much higher weight could leave Crawford at a disadvantage before the opening bell.
Look, with Crawford, I think gaining too much weight and too much muscle might affect them. If they're thinking of surviving and being able to take a punch and being able to go rounds, then they're trying to maybe go the distance and they'll be happy with that. But I think Crawford's natural talent, Mayweather had it. You know, you guys were just mentioning it right now that Mayweather never needed to gain weight and never needed to be heavy to be able to beat those bigger guys. I think Crawford's skills, we give Crawford a chance because we know how good he is, how, you know, his skills, his speed, his combinations. But if he's gaining so much weight, he might not be able to do those. He might not be able to have those same skills when it comes to his speed, his footwork, because of the weight. So we'll see. You know, I just hope he's not just training and getting big to survive and go the distance, because maybe that's a win for him. Maybe he's thinking, if I go the distance with him, that's a big win for me. So, you know, I just hope not. I expect Crawford to actually pull up some runs and maybe even pull up the fight. But if he's too heavy, too big, he's gonna get hit, and he's gonna have to exchange punches, and that's where the danger comes in.
Gary Antoine Russell praised Canelo Alvarez for his mastery of his own style, calling him a fighter who fully understands his strengths and exploits them to the fullest. From slick head movement to precise counters and punishing body shots, Russell noted that Canelo's approach has been honed against top-tier opponents. While he recognized Crawford's adaptability and intelligence, Russell stressed that dismantling a style as refined and ingrained as Canelo's would be exceptionally difficult, especially given the champion's confidence and efficiency in the ring.
Canelo, he has mastered his style. Now, typically, Latinos, they got their own style versus melanated black people. Having like more rhythm, more flashiness and panache to their stuff, more swag.
Yeah.
We just fight different than other ethnicities. If you want to throw Amir Khan in there, his ethnicity, he was in and out.
Yeah, that's the European kind of style.
Textbook, you know, but that was his style. Canelo got his style and he mastered it. Terence, Crawford cannot take nothing away from him. He's like freakishly good, you know. He go both sides, southpaw, orthodox, you know. And I feel like he adapt well. But it don't take much to get hit, especially these little 8-ounce gloves. He cannot slip up. He cannot slip up. He's gonna have to stay set from bing to bing from round 1 to 12, and he better be in shape. We're talking about like not 12-round shape. We're talking about like 16-round shape.
Former world champion Chris Algieri offered perspective on the challenges of moving up in weight. He explained that added mass changes timing, movement, and endurance, and doesn't necessarily translate into greater power. Algieri cautioned that while Crawford may appear bigger on fight night, he'll be facing an opponent naturally comfortable at that size. The real test, he said, could come in the later rounds, when the unfamiliar weight begins to drain stamina and impact performance.
Alvarez. So that's another aspect of that comparison. And yes, you know, exactly what the champ said, exactly what Abel Sanchez said, you know, you're going to put on weight, you're going to be a different fighter. And I can say this even as a fighter as myself, but as I've gotten heavier in my retirement, I try and move around the gym, it just feels different. And even when you start camp, you feel different in the beginning than you do at the end. But listen, we're still 4 or 5 weeks away. I don't know exactly what Terence is weighing right now. And even if he does say what he weighs, man, he's gone out there and said he's weighed, you know, all types of crazy numbers just to get people to get media to respond. So it's really not really going to know until the fight. We see these guys next to each other. He might look bigger right now, but he might not be that heavy. He might still be in the range that these guys are targeting for the fight itself. But I will say this: if you look at it historically, Floyd Mayweather, when he fought Canelo Alvarez, Floyd was 36 years old. Canelo was a young man. I think he was 21 or something like that, or 20, under 23, whatever the case may be. Floyd came in how Floyd always comes in. He didn't try to put on weight for that fight. I think he came in 150 pounds, like he always did in his big fights, and even at 36 years old. And it was his speed, it was his technical proficiency, it was his skill, and his jab, which is what gave Canelo fits all night long and eventually why he lost 11 rounds to 1. So I don't know that Crawford really needs to be packing on this muscle. And I have actually argued in my own head. I'm like, yeah, but he's older. He's not Floyd. Floyd was 36 when they fought.
A boxing analyst took a firm stance. Canelo Alvarez will not lose to Terence Crawford. His reasoning was blunt. Crawford lacks the power to hurt Canelo, and without that threat, winning becomes an uphill climb. He argued that over 12 rounds, Crawford would struggle to absorb Canelo's heavy shots, especially given the size and strength gap. With Canelo's proven chin, physicality, and ability to control range, the analyst predicted Crawford would find it difficult to mount consistent offense. While acknowledging Crawford's achievements, he believed Canelo's toughness and strength would ultimately decide the fight.
Before Poppy was on the undefeated team, he said that he sparred Canelo Alvarez. And he hit Canelo Alvarez with his best shot. His best shot. This is a power punch. Yeah, he's smaller than Canelo Alvarez, but let me further explain. Canelo Alvarez didn't feel nothing. Nothing. And some of y'all gonna be like, well, yo, that's Virgil Ortiz, he's smaller. Canelo Alvarez didn't feel nothing with Triple G. Canelo Alvarez didn't feel nothing versus Kovalev. Kovalev killed the man in the ring. Canelo Alvarez didn't feel nothing with Danny Jacobs. Canelo Alvarez wasn't even demobilized by WG before. He just got outboxed. He didn't hurt Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, you see how we say Iron Mike Tyson? Well, Canelo Alvarez has an iron chin. Terence Crawford, and also, put it this way, also, after the fight with Jamel Charlo and Canelo Alvarez, and I spoke to Jamel Charlo. Jamel Charlo basically said that, yo, Canelo Alvarez couldn't feel my punches. I hit Canelo Alvarez with 2 left hooks and he didn't even feel nothing. Jamel Charlo was Iron Man Jamel Charlo, the 154-pound undisputed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's not active right now, but we all know he was an undisputed, a knockout artist that got all his belt by knocking out every opponent to become undisputed, ladies and gentlemen. Canelo Alvarez has gotten hit with the most devastating punches in his generation, 175 and 160. Fought the likes of Kirkland that was known for power.
Former boxer and commentator Willie D broke down the matchup in detail. He noted that Canelo Alvarez is younger than Terence Crawford, an advantage that in boxing affects reflexes, recovery, and the ability to absorb punishment. Alongside youth, Canelo's height could help him dictate distance and pace. Willie D stressed that age and size aren't just numbers, they translate into tangible advantages in the ring. In his view, Crawford would be facing multiple built-in disadvantages before skill even enters the equation, making this an especially steep challenge.
It's 34. Bud is 37. So you give that edge to Canelo because in boxing, youth is a commodity. Height. Canelo is 5 feet 7.5 inches tall. Terence Crawford is 5 feet 8 inches tall. So you give the slight edge to Terence Crawford right there. The reach. Canelo is 70.5 inches tall. Terence Crawford is 74 inches tall, which gives him an almost 4-inch reach advantage. Their weight, Canelo is a middleweight and Bud is a lightweight middleweight. Records. Canelo is 63 2-2, 39 knockouts. Bud is 41-0 with 31 knockouts. Canelo's last fight was a victory over William Skull. It was a unanimous decision on May 3rd, 2025. Bud last entered the ring on August 3rd, 2024, where he defeated Israel Madrimov.
John Ryder, who has shared the ring with Canelo, offered a first-hand perspective. He described Canelo's style as relentless yet calculated pressure that chips away at an opponent's body and mind over time. Ryder emphasized that Canelo's strength lies not only in his power but also in his ability to maintain a punishing pace while controlling the rhythm of the fight. Even the most skilled fighters, Ryder said, can struggle to keep up when every exchange feels like a battle for survival. From his experience, Crawford's sharp technique and willpower might not be enough to withstand that sustained assault over a full championship distance. He concluded that Canelo's combination of physical power, tactical pressure, and elite experience could be overwhelming.
I think you just got to watch the Bivol blueprint, the in and out. I mean, a lot of fighters getting stick now for being runners, Tom and Jerry and whatnot. But stick to what you're good at. Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. His one titles through the weights, undisputed at, was it 3 weights now? And listen, if anyone can do it, it's him. I think the weight will be too much of an issue. Canelo is a special talent. And I think the weight will play a factor in the fight, but listen, Canelo once done it and made the step up to super middleweight. I would like Crawford to be more at light middle and middle to build into it, but you take these opportunities when they come, and that's what greatness is, chasing.
Yeah, and I've heard that before. Like some people said if you see him at 154, he fought a Madrimov, and you saw how much he got touched. Obviously, it's 2 different fighters, but. Why do you think he should probably? You think he should have probably taken another fight, maybe at 160 or maybe another one at 168?
He needs to build into it a bit. I think the fight with Madrimov was his first fight at
154.
At 154, and listen, he's still developing and growing into that weight. He could have done with a couple more there, then moved up to 160, but it's all being done as a bit of a rush. So he's not going to be fully. He's not going to have time to put the muscle on to build into the weight, and he's obviously going to do it with the intention of getting back down to 154 and taking on other challenges. So it's not a long-term goal for him to stay there. But like I say, Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. I remember watching him beat a good friend of mine, Ricky Burns, and it's like since that day I was just, my ears pricked up and I took notice. And every time Terence Crawford boxed, I watched.
While most opinions favor Canelo, Coach Anthony offered a more balanced view. He acknowledged Canelo's natural size and superior experience at higher weights, but warned against underestimating Crawford. He pointed out that Crawford's ring IQ, stance switching, and ability to create angles could pose problems Canelo hasn't faced often. Anthony argued that Crawford's timing and finishing instinct make him a real threat, and that dismissing him entirely would be a mistake. Even against a champion of Canelo's caliber, Anthony believes Crawford has the tools to create openings and turn the fight in his favor.
Okay, but we have to break some things down into perspective here. First and foremost, Terence Crawford is a very strong 147-pounder. He's not a regular guy. He's not a regular 147-pounder. Another thing is, he's an extremely determined fighter. That guy's a winner. He's cut from the same cloth as the Andre Wards, the Floyd Mayweathers. That you only get certain fighters that come across in a decade that had that kind of aura and that kind of determination to win. Now, we want to break it down fundamentally. Don't get me wrong. Canelo is a strong fighter. He's proven himself. He got a great chin. He's fought some of the best fighters that you can ask for. But he's not that much bigger if you ask me. They're about the same size and height. Now, don't get me wrong. He's a little bit wider. He's a little bit, thicker, right? Like, as far as his frame goes. But we got to be honest here, man. He's not that. It's not like we're fighting Benavidez here, okay? We're fighting a guy that he can still get his jab off. He can still use his footwork. He can still use his defense to go ahead and evade some of these punches. You know what I mean? So for me, Terence Crawford is going to be, if Canelo goes in there and underestimates Crawford's strength, that could be a mistake, okay? It only takes a few pounds of pressure to hurt a guy. You don't need to be that big of a guy to hurt a guy. So, at the end of the day, Crawford is a threat as well if Canelo goes in there and overestimates his weight and his size. I've seen bigger guys get knocked out by smaller guys in the gym all the time with headgear on and 16-ounce gloves. So we have to just take a few things into account when it comes to that.
Who's your pick for this potential classic? Share your take in the comments.